Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Um, my name is Anna Polly, and I'm a senior e-learning developer at iSpring. So for the past more than 10 years, I've been creating learning experiences for companies all around the world and helping others to grow in the field in this profession. So before we move on to the topic of my session today, let me tell you about a little bit about iSpring. So we've been in e-learning for more than 25 years now, so we know how we've picked enough information about knowledge on how to make e-learning work in your organization and how we can help you to do that. So when I was preparing for this session, I was thinking about what I can talk about. Of course, there are a lot of design frameworks, tools, methodologies and stuff, but I was thinking about what actually is making projects sometimes not easy to manage. And I don't know how about you, but the first thing I thought it was stakeholders sometimes. And if you can, I don't know, watch some YouTube videos about the methodologies and tools, they're not so much about stakeholder management. So yeah, this is a part that nobody really prepares you for. So today I want to touch on this not very convenient, not always convenient topic, and unpack the most of the challenges that I had during my experience. And most of the examples I will talk about today is from the course development, but I believe the patterns are all the same among different industries and different areas and departments. So you will see the pretty same dynamics in a lot of the L&D projects. So before we start, let's quickly find out what I mean by stakeholders. So in ID and L&D, stakeholder is anyone who's in stake for something in the project. There can be different number of stakeholders. When I was discussing about this topic with some of my colleagues, some had 15, some had 2 stakeholders, someone have 10, 4, and etc. So you name it, what depends on you. But if we talk about stakeholders, some of them can be worrying about the results for the business, about the risks. Let's say if you're talking about legal department, it also can be about, for SME, if you talk about SME as a stakeholder, they will definitely worry about the accuracy to make sure that everything is covered. And when you have so many stakeholders, it can be quite difficult to, manage all of them. Now, let me tell you that this is a really good snapshot about what stakeholders can care about. And over time, I started noticing that I have some of the situations repeating all over again. So from my personal experience, I were able to find 4 most common friction that can happen during the course creation. Okay, so let me move on here. So the first friction is content pressure. And I think that the most generic part about it, it never starts dramatically. So nobody comes to you and say, okay, let's redo your course completely. It starts with some small changes, one message from one stakeholder, another message from another one. So people just trying to really care about their own area of responsibility, right? So let me quickly try to find my mouse. Okay. So when you have a lot of comments, a lot of the messages about how to change something, how to update, especially when we go into very details. We got, I don't know, some comments about let's rephrase it, let's change the word or something. And in this case, what we need to do to get back on track is, first of all, bring everything back to purpose. So we need to have everything aligned with the goal of the course, right? So it will not go any other way, and we will still have it as one. Okay, so zooming out and reconnecting all the stakeholders with one goal. And of course, make the trade-offs visible. But when we hear some comments about the course, there can be different ways of how your stakeholders say it. What I recommend you to do is to kind of deep dive into it and see what can be the reason for the message. Let's say if somebody tell you like add more slides, I'm definitely sure that this is not because some of your stakeholders love very, very long courses, I don't know, 100 pages long. This can be something about fear of missing out something, of leaving the content from the site. Then we have a message like cover every scenario. So usually it comes from SME and it fear of risk and accountability. So when we hear message make everyone retake it, this is something about that what if this situation will happen again and my employees will not know how to handle it. And I want to review this again. This is definitely about control. So I recommend you to, try to place yourself from the other side and see what can be hidden by some of the messages. So if we do every comment, so if we implement every comment from the stakeholder, that's actually kind of switching the roles. So in this way, your stakeholder will not be a part of the collaboration anymore. They want to be your co-author. And this is a place where you need to set boundaries and find out what you can implement, and you need to understand why you do it, or what should not be included into the course. So stakeholder, I'm sure that we all can agree here, is 100% necessary, but I would not always let the stakeholder to be my co-author on the course. So very often, if you're talking about the counter pressure, it doesn't exist on its own. So sometimes we'll get information and we will have some goals that can be really, really reasonable, like raise awareness, make sure that everyone understands the policy. But in this case, there can be so many comments about the course that's somehow you cannot find the right exact moment when it happens, but there will be the goal shift. And your course will be absolutely not something that you were aimed at the very beginning of creating it. So you need to make sure that you can pause at some moment, zoom out, and align with the goal once again. One of the things that I do here, I ask questions like, is it something we want to do? Is there a goal shift, or we just need to go back to the previous goal, or we need to redo everything, or probably do another training? So yes, we need to communicate here. The next one is responsibility without authority. So this is once again about the request. If you have too many requests, I don't know, add some slides, review it, change the word and some stuff like that, or urgent, etc. At some point, you will be in place when you are responsible for the course, which were not actually your content decision. So the responsibility is still yours because you actually made the course, but the course design and the content design is not yours anymore, but you're still responsible. Like, it's not working, it's your fault. So in this case, to avoid this, once again, not all the comments should be implemented. And instead of that, I would recommend you to answer something like, you have a comment, like add something, add one more module to the course. You can ask questions, okay, I can add this module, but it will change this and that. Or we will not be aligned with our goal anymore. Should we still do that, or probably we need to review our decision once again? Because, oh God, I forgot what I want to say, but if I remember, I will say it once again. So, I would always recommend to show the stakeholder what will be the result of this exact change in the course. And one more thing is that I'm not sure if you've ever met it in your professional life, but training sometimes can be seen as a universal fix. There can be situations like we handle situation or the client case not correctly. We need to do this training once again to, I don't know, to somehow fix it. And in this case, it can be like, that sounds like a good reason, right? To repeat once again, to take the course once again. But it cannot always be the training problem. There can be problem like in the management, in the processes in the company, in the organization. So this is the moment where you need to ask, like, what's our goal? What do we need to achieve? What happened wrong? What should be the right behavior? So, yeah, not always the training can be a universal fix for everything. So, I have 3 minutes left, but I will try to speed up as much as I can. So, what I recommend you to do, so first of all, map stakeholders early. So you need to be aligned with your stakeholders. You need to ask questions. You need to make sure that everyone who will be in stake are aware of the course and what will be the goal of it, what the course will cover. The next one, ask the hard questions. This very, very tied to the third one. Don't be too easy to work with. I know, but everybody, like if you're talking about supervisors and managers, you need to be I can person. I can do everything, so they will like me. But it's not always a good strategy. So how to say it? Like, work smarter, not harder. So just for your convenience, I bring everything into one PDF file that you can download and review this presentation later if you want to. So yes, you can take some time to scan the code. It's absolutely free. You don't need to pay anything, so no worry about this. And perfect. Thank you. Thank you. And one more thing that I have for you is that right now we at Iceberg are running the course creation contest. So if you want to try yourself and see what place you can take in the winner podium. You're more than welcome to do that. That's absolutely free as well. You don't need to pay anything. Moreover, you can try our iSpring tools. And yes, if you want to continue the discussion or see how iSpring can help you prove your design decisions and how it can help you to communicate with stakeholders, you're more than welcome to visit our booth, which is H40. So all of you are welcome. Thank you so much for being here till the very end. Enjoy your day.